Let's talk about the SAT. I want to walk through a couple pieces, data points here. These are all racial groups, ethnic groups, cultural groups together, and these are averages. So it's really important that you remember that any one group, any one individual can change the average, okay, within their particular group. But on average, these are the scores for reading and math for kids whose parents don't have a high school diploma. And look how with the education of the parents it increases. And the thing is, Will, what I know is that we use the SAT as the foundation of an IQ test, because mostly people don't take IQ tests, but it becomes a de facto IQ test because it's what we use to decide whether kids are smart enough to go to college, first off, and if they're smart enough to go in one college or one university or another, and if they should get funding to do that. And so look what happens if you grow up and if you happen to be born into a family with parents that don't have a high school diploma versus have a bachelor's or graduate degree. And one other, next slide. And then take a look at this. How the SAT goes up by family income. If the SAT becomes sort of a de facto doorway into college and a de facto doorway into better schools, and meaning a de facto doorway into better occupations and more money and so on and so forth, then look how the SAT goes up as your family income goes up. Now, we're struggling here a little bit, right? Because the truth is that every child is equal at some level. Every child has an equal chance to get ahead. Every child has an opportunity to get ahead, is the thinking that many people have. But what I'm seeing here is that, well, maybe that's true, but why is it that SAT scores go up by family income? So much. Not by a small amount, but by so much. And so, Will, can you just talk about the implications of this?
Oh man, no, what can I say about this, man? I feel like the interview itself that we were just doing kind of spoke volumes, right? And the chart speaks for itself. SAT prep, $200 an hour? Dog, if my parents are making $20,000 a year or $40,000 a year collectively, I can't afford SAT prep. So it's like, hey, yes, every child has the potential. Some of us will be like, yeah, if they just work hard, yeah, I can work as hard as I want, but I can't afford a $200 SAT prep class. You feeling me? He feels me, all right? And the numbers speak for themselves. Every child has that potential, but not every child has the same opportunity. That is the issue, and that is the definition of systemic and social inequity. Welcome to sociology, right?
So, Will, the thing for me that jumps out is we want to give kids an opportunity, right?
Right.
And we all want an opportunity, and we want to think that we have that opportunity. But if I were to line you all up in a single line, we go outside and we stand in the street and we line you up from those of you who have the lowest family income at this end, and 700 plus people later, one by one, we just keep increasing whatever your family income is, and we keep going to those of you who have the highest family income down at that end of the line. Okay? And then we say, oh, all right, now let's see what your SAT scores are. So what we're going to see on average is that the lowest SAT scores are down at this end. And the highest SAT scores are down at that end. And if you're down here, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, Asian, it doesn't really matter. You're going to think, hey, well, I worked hard. I studied. I did the best I could. This is good. I took advantage of everything. But what you're not seeing is that people down there got advantages that you don't even know exist because you're living down here. Like you, Will, you dig your 1 hour a week on Sunday. And you're thinking, or on Saturday, and you're like, okay, well, this is good. At least you weren't in the lowest of the low-income neighborhoods, right. So you got something, and that's fine. And it's fine here. those with the lowest family income, on average, you're going to have the lowest scores. It doesn't mean, dude, the person in this class with the lowest family income, whoever that is, you might have the highest SAT score in this classroom, but you probably don't, because it's about averages. And so you down here, if you're down at this thing, you're thinking like, okay, well, hey, but I'm going to take advantage of some things. Man, you have no idea what people down at this end have, the advantages they have. You can't even comprehend it. If people really did, we'd have a revolution in this country, because down here, you're like, man, it's just so, and it's not just about being able to afford SAT prep, right? It's a whole, tell me, Will.
No, one thing that you were just saying, right? So like, oh my gosh, one thing this makes me think, hard work. Like, if you just work hard, you're going to be successful. How many people heard that term? Just work hard, you'll do well, right? But it's like hard work, and I hope y'all learned this lesson, if not in this class, throughout some point in your career. Hard work does not equal success. It's hard work plus opportunity. Because I'm telling you, I'm studying I had 1 hour test prep class, but I'm reading the book 10 hours every weekend. But that's not enough. I don't have the resources. I don't have the guidance. I didn't have the opportunity. That's why when I come to a place like Penn State, I had more resources. I was able to do way more and go way further. Work hard. If you really think that your parents work harder than the parents that come from low-income communities, bro, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Hang on, that are waking up at 4:30 in the morning to take a 2-hour bus ride to do a job that's paying $19 an hour to keep food on the table. Like, who's working harder? And
right.
Do you think? And
it's things like this, right? Look, man, there's no shame, because like we want to be in a place where everyone has that opportunity. But how many people in this room can raise their hand and say they took 3 buses in the morning every day just to make it to high school at 7 o'clock? How many people can say that? Let me see a show of hands. 3 buses. Who took 3 buses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? In the back. Can we get a mic for that person?
Nah, I don't.
No? Because I want to know, like...
Nitty, can you get a mic and take it up?
I want to know, like, why you had to take 3 buses, and then...
Yo, while we're waiting on that, I want to make one point here.
Yeah.
For those of you who are down at this end, who really, your family makes more money, your parents are more educated, you get the scores. Do you really know what's going on at that end? Do you have any idea of the benefits and privileges you have that people down there don't have? So when you're sitting around thinking, earning something, getting something for yourself, right? The scholarship, the higher scores, chem, OChem at Penn State is actually pretty easy for you. It's not really that difficult. Do you have any idea that maybe that has something to do with the fact that you grew up down here and you don't see it? Like this is like affirmative action that you don't see and you don't understand. And so the issue is, if we think that we're all equal, or we all have an equal chance of making it or getting ahead or whatever it is, it's because we're not understanding the nature of the obstacles that are out there and the enablements, the ways in which some of us are enabled and some of us just have to face walls on a regular basis. All right, go ahead, Matt.
So I just wanted to know, because there's 2 people, right? I wanted to know, why did you have to take 3 buses? Like, what was your situation? Tell me a little bit about it.
So I'm from New York, and at the time, I lived in Yonkers, and from Yonkers to the school I went to, it was 3 buses. I went to a Catholic school. I was fortunate enough to go to a Catholic school, but the 3 buses, I did have to get up at 5:36 in the morning.
Exactly.
For the 25, the 16, and then the train.
Dang, you got that memorized, right?
Yeah.
To go to a school in a better area, right? I had to take 3 buses and a train.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, right? We got one over here, right?
I kind of had a similar situation where I didn't go to a terrible high school, but I had to wake up and get on 2 separate PAD buses just to catch the school bus that all the other kids would take. So
Geez, where are you from?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay. Black and yellow. And so it's this idea, right? Because a lot of people, hold on, y'all gonna want to hear this. Because a lot of people, they're like, you drop this word in the room, right? Privilege. Ooh, right? Oh my gosh. Like, no, I worked hard. You can't tell me that. Okay, cool. All right. How about this? Imagine the kids that had to take 3 buses didn't have to take 3 buses. That's like what, an hour and a half that they could have saved to study, play sports, right? Saying privilege doesn't mean that your life is easier. It's just saying that your social conditions is not a factor that made it harder. So yeah, you can work hard, but remember, hard work plus opportunities will equal success, not just hard work. But y'all don't really hear me. Go ahead.